Is AMD purposely lying to us? Is AMD underselling the GPU? Let's discuss about this. So guys, hi. This is your noob gamer friend here, Varun aka Tubby aka the Indian Frustrated Gamer again, coming up with another video. So this time around, I'm discussing that AMD purposely in their presentation actually undersold the GPUs, or they actually mentioned some lies where they were actually mentioning that the performance is lower than it actually is. So I have found various sources and we are going to discuss that in our video. So guys, AMD announced their GPUs, right? And like most of us, were happy with the announcement that this time around we don't have to sell our body organs in order to afford a GPU. Having said that, $1,000 for a GPU is still very high. So, but anyways, at least they are not, making you sell two body parts. So AMD is making you sell only one body part, not two. But anyways, so as I was mentioning, they are not actually making you sell your body parts in order to buy them. So the 7900 XTX, which is their flagship GPU as the time of making this video, they are going to sell it at around 1000 USD. And the other one, which is the 7900 XT, they are going to sell it at around $900 USD. So unlike NVIDIA, which is actually selling the 4090 at around $1,600, and 4080 will be selling at $1,300. So there you can see there is a $600 and there is actually a $400 gap between the two products. So let's dive in, guys. So, AMD is actually launching two new GPUs. As I already mentioned, one is 7900 XTX and the other is 7900 XT. Now, the 7900 XTX will come with 24 GB of RAM and clocks at 2.5 gigahertz, which accounts to around 355 wattage of total TDP, and also will come equipped with the DisplayPort 2.1 with up to 4K 480 Hz support. The 7900 XT will also do the same. It will have lesser RAM, which is I guess 20 GB of RAM, and the total TDP would be 300 watts. And what it will do is it will also come with DisplayPort 2.1. So why I am stressing on the fact that DisplayPort 2.1, because NVIDIA have decided to actually skip the DisplayPort altogether, which supports high resolution with high refresh rate. Now, their 4090 we already know, it's a beast. You can play, any game at 4K, on very high refresh rates. But what's the point if your output or your hardware does not support that? So the same case is with the 4090 where the DisplayPort is not capable to go beyond 4K 144 Hz. So that's a bummer. But anyways, AMD is actually going ahead and supporting that. Now, come to think of it, right? Why I'm sure that AMD has a trick or two up their sleeve is because they have opted to go for DisplayPort 2.1, and with the rasterization performance which they mentioned in their slides, they have mentioned that the 7900 XTX will go ahead and give you 70% more performance and minimum 50%. So that accounts to a lot of FPS in the competitive titles, and you'll be able to play on high refresh rate monitors. And they have mocked NVIDIA as well in their presentation, mentioning that you can simply go ahead and play those high refresh rate on 4K without doing anything else. And also they have mocked this because the size of the graphics card is actually not that large. It's actually small. So you will be able to just take out your older card. Many of
and
the
just put it
users
in.
who have bought the new 4090 have reported that their cable is melting. And with the new report which is coming in, it is not exactly the adapters the NVIDIA or the third-party vendors are providing. So there was one user who actually bought a PSU, special PSU, the PCI Express 5.0 PSU, which comes with the inbuilt adapter. That also melted. So I have again shared the story as you can see. So this particular user are also reported that even though he's using, all the power supply cables, doing everything right, still the cable is melting. So maybe it's a bend which is coming into picture, or the, connector itself is not able to handle such loads. I'm not sure. And the people who have designed this are also not sure that what exactly is happening. So we need to stay tuned and watch for that particular story as well. My card, I've not had the balls to actually pull out the plug and check. So I've not checked. So I'm fingers crossed that everything is fine, and I'm hoping that everything is okay with the graphic card. But if I smell any burning, I will surely make another video out of it, and maybe tag NVIDIA into it. But so far so good. Let's hope it stays that way. So as I was mentioning, this particular advantage by keeping the power cables to the previous gen, that is also one major advantage AMD, because if someone who's spending like $1,000 on a graphic card may want their graphic card to not burn down and just work. So moving ahead, guys, coming back to the rumor mill, right? Not exactly the rumor mill, but what AMD has shown us, right? What they mentioned in this slide was that the maximum, output which they are getting is 70% more than the 6950 XT. Now, if we look at the graphs, right? So many YouTubers and many tech websites have gone ahead and materialized what AMD is saying in their slides. So I have a link as well of I believe Tech Power Up, where they have shown that if we go ahead and assume that what AMD is doing, as you can see, I have put up the link. So as you can see over here, they have mentioned that if we assume that 70% is what it is, then the graphs put the Radeon RX 7900 XTX very close to the RTX 4090. In Watchdog Legions, the RTX 4090 is around 6.4% faster than the 1700 XTX. In Cyberpunk and Metro, both the cards are evenly matched, right? And the RTX 4090 is around 4% faster with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, okay, which is the recent release. So as you can see, right, the performance is neck and neck, and the price difference, right, is $600. So the price difference is actually, if my math is not wrong, 60%, $600, $1,000, 1,600. And in the countries outside United States, you can't imagine the kind of price we have to pay for NVIDIA graphics card, right? So if AMD manages to go ahead and control their pricing outside the states as well as in the United States of America, you can very well imagine that each and every gamer is out to get these graphics cards, because you are getting $1,600 performance in a $1,000 card. Just imagine that. That is a huge undercut, right? And what I think this time around in AMD definitely will be able to go ahead and pull the market, and they will be able to see a great jump in revenue, which would be great. They will be able to launch their next series as well. Now, coming to the underselling part. So if you look at the architecture, I will put up another slide, right? In the architecture, right, like as you can see, it is mentioned that the RDNA 3 can actually go up to 3 gigahertz. But in their slides, or in the presentation, what they have mentioned is it goes up to 2.5 gigahertz, the clocks of the 1700 XTX. Now, unlike NVIDIA, what I feel is what AMD is trying to do is not undercut their partners. They're actually giving them room to optimize the graphic card if they want to, right? Say, suppose, now, if Sapphire is a very old partner of AMD, so Sapphire comes up with premium cards as well of 1700 XT, so the baseline would be the same, same everything. And they come up with a, very premium segment of this particular card, which has higher clocks. You can overclock it, and the clocks can go up to 3 gigahertz if the cooling is there. So there is in fact, room to go ahead and overclock this particular card as well, right? As you saw in the slides. So again, guys, what I feel is NVIDIA is massive, not exactly massively, but still you will get, free performance of around 10%. And if you are able to get that, right, 10% performance over what AMD has mentioned in their slides, you will be able to see that this card can easily, not easily, but still, I'm being optimistic, able to beat 4090. Again, this is, guys, in pure rasterization. When I say rasterization, this is not in accountance of the ray tracing capabilities. Surely the ray tracing game, NVIDIA is way ahead with their, AI cores and tensor cores and whatnot. So I don't know the technical part, but yes, the ray tracing part, I believe still NVIDIA is
So,
the
as
king over.
mentioned earlier, that ray tracing is one thing that AMD will be lacking, and you know, A and AMD will not be able to go ahead and make any healthy competition with NVIDIA because of the very fact that NVIDIA itself is going ahead and working on ray tracing from the past 3 to 4 years. So they are quite ahead, and they have a head start when it comes to ray tracing. And moreover, the the benchmarks and the professional softwares which actually use graphics card, in that particular regard also NVIDIA is quite ahead. So these two segments, clearly NVIDIA has a, advantage. One is ray tracing and the other one is synthetic benchmarks and, enterprise level editing or, rendering, that those kind of things. And one more thing that I feel that NVIDIA still has a slight advantage, not that huge as it was last year around, is the DLSS or AI upscaling. So DLSS, I feel, is still ahead as far as NVIDIA is concerned. The software is more optimized, and also the driver stability. I myself have shifted to NVIDIA because of the very reason that the drivers were not that stable. So again, one more thing that AMD needs, to sort things out, and I am hoping that this time around with this series, the drivers are more stable. They have improved the stability, but if you're spending so much money and the driver is crashing every now and then, not exactly many times, but still, so you want driver stability as well. So these are the things we need to actually go ahead and have a look as well. But again, as the video says, I feel that AMD still is underselling, and as far as raw rasterization performance, but raw FPS, if you talk about raw FPS, right? AMD will be able to beat NVIDIA. That is what I feel. And the competitive gamers, right? The pros, who are the real influencer, the streamers and everything, might go for AMD this time around because they want those, more FPS as they will be
And
streaming.
AMD will be able to attract a new genre altogether, which has always, evaded AMD, which is the pro gamer or the influencer, who streams and actually influences people to buy certain type of hardware. The reason I say this is because they are more concerned of the FPS part rather than having ray tracing, you know, or any other graphics enhancement techniques. So that is where I feel that AMD has a huge gap to fill, and they have a huge opportunity at their hand if they are able to pull this off, right? With that being said, it's still around 40 days since the cards arrive, and I'm assuming that AMD actually speaks the truth. If, in other words, we actually go ahead and say that, AMD was not true to us, we take the worst case scenario as well, and we deduct 10% of what AMD was saying, still 60% above 6950 XT, 6950 XT, yeah, in the best case scenario, and in the worst case scenario, it will be 40%, right? So in that case also, it comes close to the 4090 or maybe the 4080, and still it is cheaper, guys. So I am very, very hopeful this time around, and people who commented on the previous video that no, AMD launch or the presentation that AMD pulled off, we are not impressed. Well, actually,
I am impressed. And the people who are into this particular business and who know that what kind of graphic card to buy and they actually influence others, right? I'm not that someone, but still, I think they are aware what AMD have up their sleeve, and you will be surprised if you're on the NVIDIA bandwagon and you are a fanboy. I'm afraid that please remove your fanboy glasses and just see this is good competition finally in the GPU market space. And I'm rooting for, and sorry, not NVIDIA. I have a 4090, so maybe that is what I said, but I'm rooting for AMD this time around. So, guys, that was my 2 cents. That was my thought regarding the AMD, launch, and I feel that they are, undercutting, and why I feel so. So, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please do subscribe. We really need you guys. And that's it from my end. This is Varun, aka Tubby, aka the Indian Frustrated Gamer, signing off. Bye bye now.